Hi everyone, welcome to KittyKatsCircus. This is episode 3 of Stilts History. What happens when stilts leave the street and step onto the stage? So we've talked about farmers, shepherds, spiritual guardians, jousting and battles on stilts. But at some point, stilts left the village square and eventually stepped onto a stage. Once that happened, it changed everything. The moment you bring stilts into circus and put it on a big production stage, you're not just a tall person anymore. You become a character, a moving piece in the world around you, a piece of the story. The moment you bring stilts into a big circus production, you're no longer just a tall person on stilts. You become a character. You're a piece of the world of the set that you're living in. You're a bigger piece of a bigger story. Section 1, the circus spark. By the 18th and 19th century, stilt walkers were appearing in fairs, traveling shows, and public celebrations across Europe. As circus and variety theater grew, height became something audiences would pay to see. By the 20th century, stilts were already a part of parades, pageants, and productions. Then came a modern leap. A small theater owner named Guy St. Croix walked 56 miles on his stilts to convince the Quebec government to give them a grant to support a stilt walking troupe. The non-stop walk took 22 hours. I thought I was tired after walking like 4 hours in my stilts. 22? What? Just imagine seeing that. You're just going about your business in the town, and here comes this guy just walking, probably looking tired, but with a mission in mind. He just kept on going. His journey earned the front page of the newspaper. This stilt walking troupe later grew to 20 performers, and a little bit later became what we all know as Cirque du Soleil. I love stilt walking. It's niche. Even just walking can look impressive, but that wasn't the boundary for the stilt walkers. Stilt walkers throughout history continue to push the limits of what we think we can do and what we know we can do on our stilts. Section 2, Stilters on Stage. Street performance is alive. It adapts, it's responsive, it can be messy in the best way. But circus stage performance asks a different question. Can you do it again? Exactly, just like that, every night? Rehearsal turns into craft. Timing becomes crucial. Spacing becomes choreography. Risk becomes something that you train for and design around. And when you start repeating something night after night after night, you start refining the movement. That's when the style gets sharper. A lot of people understand hard performance work, but on stilts, your steps, your balance, your precision, it has to be perfect or it can completely throw you off. It's a whole different level. Because yes, people know, balancing is hard. But what they don't really realize is those little micro moments where a stilt walker almost slips or completely almost falls, but we don't. We catch ourselves, and that is hard to do. It takes a lot of training to get to the point where you can have your leg taken out from under you and still stay up. Getting thrown off center and trying to make it smooth so the audience doesn't notice is a really tricky thing to do on stilts. People don't really realize that for me to move as gracefully as I do, that took me facing my fears, feeling like I want to throw up, trying to do things that were out of my comfort zone. And since I did push myself out of my comfort zone and train again and again and again, I have this refined movement as well as a lot of other stilt walkers. To be confident on stilts isn't just something anyone can have, it's something that's earned. So once stilts entered stage production, everything got bigger. The lighting makes height feel larger than life. Music makes the movement feel like a story. Set and staging give a stilt walker a world to live in. Costume departments engineer silhouettes of fantasy and safety. Now it's not just about being special because you're tall on stilts. They're a part of something bigger. And when the audience is no longer a bunch of people in the street, but actually thousands of viewers in a theater, or even millions of people watching through the television, the pressure changes too. Precision and originality are highly awarded. Precision and originality become huge for the artist. One of my favorite examples of a modern leap for stilt walking is Train Knight's Stilt World. Stilt World brought techno, fire dancing, aerial lyra on stilts, and near nudity to network television. They pushed every boundary of commercial media. And they helped launch the trend for specialty arts in Hollywood film and television over the next 10 years. They pushed past the idea that stilts were novelty entertainment. They showed that stilt artists could be bold, athletic, artistic, and unforgettable. For me personally, Train Knight is one of my biggest inspirations. Unfortunately, he did just recently pass away due to losing a battle to cancer. But I am so grateful that before he passed away, I had the chance to send him some fan mail and let him know how much his art rocked my world. He was so excited to hear about my passion and to hear that his art hugely impacted my life and my goals. He brought people together, he pushed limits, they made art people had never seen before and put it right onto television. Oh, what a visionary and a huge inspiration for me. It's a big dream of mine to bring lots of stilt walkers together and help them push their limits and their boundaries on stilts in a similar way that Train Knight did. I have a lot of respect for anyone who expands what this art form can be or what it looks like or what people think it's bound to. In the description of this video, I'm definitely going to link quite a few of my favorite Stilt World videos. These are videos that I have screen recorded and I watch all the time because they just light such a happy and exciting fire inside of me and really make me look forward to continuing to pushing my dreams and my limits in the effort to bring everyone together to do the same. Section 3, extra tall costuming. Once stilts reached the stage, people realized that height alone was a wow factor. But that wasn't enough. Height gets attention and costuming tells people what the height means. As I've been spending so much of my time studying the stilt history, I realized that we've been seeing costuming throughout history from the beginning. Across cultures, once people got taller, they started dressing that height with meaning. The Moko Jumbies wore robes and masks and mirrors and acted as spiritual protection. Carnival stilters covered themselves in feathers and glitters and festive energy. In Namir, team colors turn height into teams and rivalry. When you look at today's costume for stilt walkers become giant walking flowers, aliens in forest festivals, four-legged creatures, time-traveling characters. Whatever the imagination can build. The historical thread then becomes clear. Stilts give height, costume gives identity. Because a tall person is interesting, but what about a 9-foot angel or a really tall and bouncy alien? That becomes unforgettable. For me personally, when I put on a costume in stilts, everything changes. I walk differently, I talk differently, I carry myself differently. I fully enter the character and allow myself to be whatever tall version of this character I'm wearing that day. Because the goal is no longer to just be tall, it's to bring the size of the idea to life. And audiences feel that. People light up. They want videos of you. They want to be in a picture with you. They want to remember that moment. And for a little while, you become a part of someone's most special memories. And that is a really special kind of art. Altogether, this shows us that performance asks a different question. What if height could tell stories? What if it shocked people? What if it moved them or inspired them? What can we do to bring this idea to life and tell the story to the people? Every generation has a chance to push an art form forward. The last generation built incredible things with it. and I think stilt walking is ready for another leap. In the next episode, we're gonna dive finally into the tool itself. Peg stilts, drywall stilts, jumping stilts, arm stilts, oh my. Once humans got the idea of standing taller, we never stopped redesigning how to do it. And if you've ever wondered what kind of stilts are the best to start with or are the best for a professional, we're gonna get into that a little bit too. So make sure you look out on my page for the next episode. Bye.